Hello, welcome to Board Deck and Dice. Today we are taking a look at a small card game, Wibbell, or Wibbell, or Wibbell, Wibbell plus plus. Wibbell plus plus is simply a deck of cards. Each card has 2 letters on it and also a border, and there's a number of different borders. From this deck of cards you get a multitude of games. In fact, there was a website crowdfunded to produce even more games. So this set of cards, apart from the name of the deck, which is also the main game, is a kind of like a game system. So various games we have. I'm going to get the little rules, not because I don't know what they are, but because there's so many I forget which ones are which. Wibbell, the first game, is a game of making words from the letters you have. So you have letters in front of you, cards in front of you, someone draws the top one, and the first one to make a word with one letter from each card gets the card in front of them. So it then becomes harder for them to make another word. And the person with the most cards at the end wins that one. There is Wibbell, which is like a version of Double using these cards. So you have to match. You put all the cards face up in a kind of messy pile on a table, and you're matching either one of the letters on your cards or the border. There is Phrasel, where you're using the letters on the cards to make phrases. So if your letters were N-I-H, you could say Nick is handsome, and you'd be right. But that is, for example, a way of playing that one. There is Fable, which is similar, but you're using the letters to make a story in a kind of fairy tale fashion. Alphabetical is a game where you're trying to put the cards in the right order using one from each card, and you can slide them up and down. So as you can see, there's a multitude of games in this deck. So what do I think? I think that there is likely to be a game for you in this deck because it is so wide, the types of gameplay. Especially if you like word games, which a lot of this is. For me, the ones where you're making phrases or the Fable, the Phrasel one, they are the hardest sell because they very much depend on your group, on how creative and how under pressure your group feels from the kind of creative with just very few guidelines. The strongest one is Wibbell. I had a lot of fun with that with my family, making words from the letters in front of you. Of course, people who are better at words are probably going to do better at that because there's a speed element, but it's a nice game. Wibbell, the kind of wordy version of Double, went down surprisingly well. I thought this is just kind of a less good version of Double, was my thought going in, but actually because of the race element and the mess and the borders, the clever use of the borders, it was actually quite a lot of fun. So those two were definitely my favourites. Like I say, I think it's either Phrasel or Fable didn't go down quite as well as those two, but Wibbell and Wibbell went down really well. And for a £10 pack of cards, to have 2 games that go down that well is exceptional value. If I had any criticisms, it would be obviously the cards are just black and white. There's some red on the back, but there's a lovely kind of drawn tree on the front with a little bit of colour in, and it just would have been nice to see some colour in some of the borders and some of the letters. I know that can the downside of that is that can produce issues in the type of games that could be produced, I guess, with the Wibbell one. If the same colours are easier to match when the borders look very similar, the same colours be easier to match than just looking for the borders of the same of when they're all one colour, if you see what I mean. So that goes both ways. So intimidation factor, very low. The cards have 2 letters on and a border, and the letters are repeated. There's also a number in the kind of bottom. Is it the bottom? Yeah, bottom there's a number as well. I didn't play any games that utilise the number actually, so that's another way that the cards can be used for different ways. So intimidation factor very low. Rulebook, Rulebook is each main game comes with a card. The rest of the rules are online. Some of the rules are better than others. Some give you a few questions, probably because of trying to condense onto the space of a card, but there is the website support. Again, the main game is very clear. Some of the other ones, just a little bit abstract what it's asking you to do. Fun, again, depending on which game you're playing, how that suits your group. We had a lot of fun with Wibbell and Grabbell. They definitely produce the most fun in the tests that I've done. Would I keep it in my collection? Well, yes, I would. I think it's in really good value for a set of cards that can be used for multiple games. You can just take with you. Explanations on most of the games are 2 minutes once you know the rules. And people play and have fun, and you can do it pretty much anywhere. You could make your own games with this set as well. So I think it's a fairly easy recommendation for me, bearing in mind the kind of word restriction. Most games are going to revolve around words and letters. So that is Wibbell++. Thanks very much for watching Board Deck and Dice. We will see you next time.